I currently have a problem. This is probably the best time in history to be a gamer. Over the last year, certified bangers have dropped. We had Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and Tekken 8, just to name a few. But as more and more games have come out recently, my unfinished game library has grown twice as much. Why am I thinking about Black Myth Wukong when I haven't beat Armored Core 6 yet? You see, gamers, I have a problem, and I'm pretty sure a majority of my audience have the same issue. I cannot beat video games. This week, I decided to sit down and try to figure out, why am I plagued with this curse? Is there something in my DNA that's stopping me from being an elite gamer? Now, I can imagine a high percentage of gamers that's watching this video just heard that statement and laughed at it. But listen, it's not that I can't beat video games. It's like I get there to the finish line and I never cross it. Like, check these stats out. 69 hours in Cyberpunk. I put 139 hours into Elden Ring. 122 hours I milked out of Baldur's Gate 3 just to get to Act 2, and 77 hours in Yakuza Like a Dragon. And I only played these games because I knew there was DLC coming out for them sooner or later. Maybe this is a unique problem, but I spend hours and hours in these games, and for some reason just lose the motivation to finish. But as I started ranting to other friends, they started telling me they had the exact same problems I was going through. So it led me on a journey to figure out why this was the case. And gamers, I think I figured this out. We all have a disease called TTU. That means too long, too many chores, and you are growing up. You see, my goal here is to pinpoint the problem of why we are not clearing our backlog. The TTU epidemic is spreading, and this video essay is the equivalent of a vaccine shot. So let's break this down. Over the years, games have been getting long as hell. When I first started gaming, this problem would sound like a haven. A game that's 150 hours plus would make me feel like I was getting my money's worth. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only gamer that relates hours played to money spent. For those who don't really understand that equation, let me break it down. If a game is worth $60, I'm expecting to get 60 hours worth of gameplay. Now, with this logic, every game I've been buying over the last couple years have been well worth the money. But I'm starting to get a little overwhelmed. On average, most open world games are 30 to 50 hours. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a full week of work is how long your open world game is. But that's not the kicker. Within those 30 to 50 hours, game developers put so many tasks in between you and beating the story that it would fucking blow your mind. I mean, have you ever clicked on an Assassin's Creed game and looked at the map? The shit is absolutely insane. There will be over 500 things on this map, and all those things mean nothing in the grand scheme of the game. I remember when I was playing Spider-Man 1 on the PS4. I went around beating all the side quests, doing all the mini games, and collecting all those damn magazines so I can get all the cool unlockables before I beat the game. But when I got to the last 10 hours of the game, I didn't even have the energy to want to beat it anymore. This is what I like to call gaming fluff. I don't really know how old my audience is, but JRPGs used to do this gaming fluff a lot. You would have to endlessly grind mobs just to get strong enough to beat the next boss. I think modern day game developers realize this. Well, not the Yakuza Like a Dragon devs, because I honestly hate that Sujimon Tower, bro. I had to grind that Sujimon Tower just to beat one of the bosses, and by far, that was one of the worst experiences I ever played in my life. But I digress. After these modern day game developers realized that gamers don't want to spend hours grinding out mobs, they had to figure out how to make a gamer feel like they got their money's worth. So they came up with the gaming fluff that I'm talking about right now. It's always fetch quests you don't want to do, grinding out collectibles, or an area to fight mobs to get stronger and level up just to be the boss that you've been playing the game for 77 hours and for some reason you just can't beat it. Not gonna lie, I'm really ticked off because I was really trying to beat Yakuza Like a Dragon and it's just whatever. You see, my theory is once somebody has played the game for over 30 hours, a switch might flip in their head, causing gaming fatigue. Side note, this only really applies to single player games. Multiplayer games, you really don't have that experience because the PvP element always adds an extra layer of diversity. But don't get me wrong, there's also long games that apply gaming fluff well. Let's talk about the Witcher 3 real quick. I remember I was doing a whole bunch of side quests in The Witcher 3, and I think I ran across a mission where I had to kill a werewolf. Now, I killed that werewolf, got a silver sword, and realized, oh wow, werewolves are weak to silver. So there was a main story mission where I had to go fight a werewolf. And because I got that silver sword, it really affected the way I played the game in that main mission. Like, I really dogged the shit out the werewolf. It was easy as fuck. But see, that's how you build gaming fluff. You make it part of the main storyline to make me feel like that extra time I'm spending in is not worth it. Now, before you ask me, did I finish The Witcher 3? No, you obviously are watching this video because the epidemic of TTU is strictly in my veins right now. But at this point in my gaming career, I'd rather have 20 hours of solid gameplay than 50 to 80 hours of gaming fluff that doesn't really mean anything. As gaming has gotten bigger over the last few years, venture capitalists have become more invested in the industry of gaming. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing. Taking the billionaires' dollars to create a passion project that you had in your heart for many years could be beneficial to both parties. The game developers I tend to think about the most is Hello Games, the company that made No Man's Sky. Overnight, No Man's Sky became a little small indie title that nobody cared about to becoming one of the most anticipated games of that year. On release, it was horrible. Tons of bugs, full of glitches, and a lacking product that almost stained the name of Hello Games because Sony wanted to push it out. You see, as a developer, you'll take big companies' money and support, but they expect something called return on investment. Virtually, let me teach you an early life lesson, kid. Nothing in this world is given for free. The only reason a company would give you $1 billion is they're expecting to make $5 billion off your game. And honestly, that's just the nature of capitalism. But capitalism and creativity oftentimes do not mix. And it isn't hard to tell how this ungodly concoction has been affecting the game industry over the last few years. The gaming space over the last few years has been nothing but microtransactions, live service games that are doomed to fail, and always online playthrough shit-a-thons. Now, the average gamer would think that companies and developers are morally bankrupt, but this is not the case. The real problem is that these game developers have to make money for the publisher, aka they're big bosses of the game industry. Let me introduce you to the other T of the TTU, too many chores. Let me set the scene. Have you ever been playing a game, taking a break for a month or two, and then come back, open the game, and there's 50,000 notifications bombarding you and overstimulating your brain, and you don't know what the fuck is going on? New currencies, new unlocks, new challenges that you just haven't done over the last 2 months. Well, my friend, let me introduce you to the concept of dailies. I know my WoW fans right now are currently shaking in their boots over that word, daily. It's like the boogeyman or some shit. The concept of dailies only exists for one reason and one reason alone. It's funny because I put up like 2 fingers when I said one reason, but video game chores prey on one sensation, and that sensation is called FOMO, the fear of missing out. You see, when the FOMO receptor is triggered in our brain, we will do anything to not be outside the loop. Humans have a natural instinct to always want to be inside their in-group, and these video game companies take advantage of that psychological disadvantage. These companies create conditions that ensures that your ass will be on that game every day to not feel the effect of FOMO. And this creates some type of snowball effect. You see, you don't want to be behind your friends, so you're going to log on every day. And your friends not going to be behind you because there's going to be content they can't play if they don't keep up. And this will lead to people either grinding the game for hours or just throwing money at the wall to make sure they don't fall behind. When Destiny 2 first came out, I was super excited for the game. I was grinding out missions with my friends damn near every day. And I remember during that time I was in college, I think it was around finals, a new DLC just came out and I didn't really have the time to play it. By the time I logged back on that game, my friends had every exotic that you can imagine. And I was so fucking far behind in the content that I couldn't even imagine playing with them. This led me to never want to pick up Destiny again, which led me to never beating the game. And even though the final shape looks fucking insane, I probably will never play a Destiny game again. So you may be wondering, what the fuck does this have to do with those bosses and those publishers that only want money? Well, my friend, this isn't about your enjoyment. This is about the shareholders, baby. Most of the time, shareholders and people with board seats are old as fuck. And for the most part, they don't really understand how the gaming space works. But what they do understand is graphs and numbers. So what a company would do, they will artificially pad their stats so grandpa's shareholder can look at that graph go up and say, oh wow, this game must be doing amazing. This in turn allows the game to live and keeps grandpa's shareholder extremely happy because all he did was invest money. They, for the most part, don't really understand the gaming economy and what a gamer would truly enjoy, which in turn really makes the gamers the loser in this situation. Now, I've only been talking about multiplayer games for the most part, but dailies have popped up in even single-player games. I was talking to one of my friends. He plays the dreaded 2K, and from my understanding, there's something called badges. Now, I'm gonna break this down in RPG terms because that's the only way I was able to break it down. I know I'm black. I never played a 2K game. Yes, you can crucify me. Who cares? So 2K has something called the badge system. These badges are similar to buffs. If I want to build a dunker, I have to get something called an elite dunking badge. Now, once I get this badge, you think you will keep it because you earned it, but this is not the case. You see, you, as a player, have to log on every day just to keep this badge. This is the equivalent of you beating an Elden Ring boss, getting their weapon, and the only way for you to keep that weapon is to log in every day and kill 10 enemies. Now, if that doesn't sound dumb as fuck, there's something wrong with you. This in turn creates the never-ending grind, and even though 2K is a multiplayer game, if you want to play the single-player modes, this is something you still have to deal with. So there's literally no escape. And I don't want to talk about the microtransactions in 2K because it's disgusting, bro. Like, I just seen something saying like it takes like 200 BC to max out a character. That's something like $200, bro. Like, I don't, it's fucking disgusting, bro. Like, 2K is, bro. Stop buying 2K, guys, please. With video game chores, fatigue is surely bound to hit us. A lot of us play games to relax, to escape from the duties we have to do at home and our horrible jobs we hate going to. So why would I want to log in after an 8-hour shift just to do more chores and tasks that other people are telling me what to do? I just want to play the game, bro. Please get off my dick. This video game chores dynamically cut the fun factor by half. And for the most part, if we're not having fun, why would you want to keep playing something? Which leads to you never being able to beat that single player game because those video game chores are looming on your back. You know, there's one thing in life that we can never escape. It doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter how much power you have, and it definitely doesn't matter how much influence you have. The evil mistress known as time will always seem to catch up with us, and it doesn't really matter how fast we run. As you get older, responsibilities happen, obligations start to pop up, and the duties you have for other people start to intensify, which in turn starts shortening the time we have for the things we truly enjoy. When I was 15, I remember coming home after summer school and playing Skyrim for 12 hours straight, drinking a Slurpee, eating a 7-Eleven Big Bite with cheese and chili, and a bag of spicy Doritos right next. And you know what? I would give everything I have right now to just feel those moments again. I think the craziest thing about getting old is you'll even realize it's happening to you. I mean, yes, you know you're going up in age, and now you have a job you have to go to every day, but then out of nowhere, you find yourself with no time to play any video. And at that moment, when you sit down and play that single player game you set time out for, you don't even realize that your time is probably slashed by half because the loud yelling of the real world is calling you to get back to it. And this is a sad fact we just all have to remember. And that fact is, bro, you just might not be the target demo for video games. A game developer is absolutely cool with a gaming dad coming home to play Diablo 4 for 3 hours a day. But see, that's not who they want. Who they really want is the 14 to 18-year-old that's gonna spend 12 hours a day grinding their game, spending money on microtransactions, absolutely going insane for every skin that comes out, and having the lust to buy every DLC with their mom's credit card. When you hit the age of 29 to 30, the game industry tends to care about you less and less. I mean, in some ways, it feels like these game companies don't even want you to finish the game. Once you spend that initial $60, some of them could care less if you ever picked up their game again. As an artist, it's a tough pill to swallow to realize that you're just a cog in the machine of a video game industry that doesn't really care if you finish the art that they put their blood, sweat, and tears into. They don't want you to enjoy the game. They want you to become a bottomless money pit that just throws dollar bills bills at the wall like a monkey throwing shit at the zoo. In a way, the you in the TTU epidemic is the driving factor for the other symptoms. There's too many hours in the game, so you can't play. There's too many chores to do, so you don't feel like. And with the 50,000 things we have to do as human beings, video games sadly will fall to the wayside. In these times, everything is so oversaturated. Media, entertainment, information. And for some people, we just don't want to take a bite of that big ass overconsumption burrito anymore. So how do I plan to fix this? Well, number one, buy less video games. I think if I try to finish my backlog and get off this hype train, my game enjoyment will probably double. Another key factor is practicing patience. Before you sprint to assault your wallet, step back. If a game is fun right now because your favorite streamer is saying it, it's gonna be fun later. When the Steam summer sale happens, step back and ask yourself, do I really need to spend another $40 on a game I won't play? Once you answer that question, I feel like the games you have now, you'll probably be a lot more appreciative of. And this one right here is probably the biggest one. Ask yourself, why do I love video games? Why do I want to play this? Why did I fall in love with video games in the first place? I know for me, it was to enjoy a world I can never go to in real life, to meet characters that feel just as real as the friends I have now, and to create memories with my friends and tell people experiences that they can relate to on a spiritual level. In short, remember that you play video games to have fun. If we focus on why we love video games and not get caught up in the hype trains, the FOMO, and what the next big influencer is telling us what we need to do, then it's very possible for a lot of us to capture that love of video games we had before. And with that, we'll be able to avoid the disease known as TTU. Because it's not that we can't finish video games, it's just we forgot why we wanted to. All right, ladies and gentlemen, another video essay done. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to share it to your favorite streamer. Like, share it to somebody big, you know? This is a good video, right? You like the video? Make sure to share it. Links in the bottom, Discord in the bottom, Elgato link in the bottom if you want to cop some of the stuff I be using. And if you want to hear me talk about the hoodification of anime, click the link right here. I'm currently writing out the skeleton of a very, very big video game project I have coming out next year, and I think you guys will be extremely excited about. But until then, I'll see you guys next week. Bye. We get hit by it. We get hit by it. Shorty want to come with other that. Shorty hit by it. We get hit by it. We get hit by it.